Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Indira Akila binti Azizuddin from University Malaysia Pahang from the Faculty of College of Engineering, Department of Chemical Engineering and Faculty of Chemical and Process Engineering Technology. And my co-inventor from the university is Dr. Nurul Saada binti Sulaiman. Okay, so today I would like to present about my invented model, which is noisy or model that we will be used in the risk analysis of corroded oil and gas pipeline using the Bayesian network approach. So for the introduction, so pipelines are usually pipes that are located underground that function as to transport and distribute fluids. In the term of oil and gas pipelines, there are two major pipelines that used in the industry, which are liquid pipelines and natural gas pipelines. However, the pipeline that used in the oil and gas industry often has complicated oil and gas operation and hazardous due to the significant uncertainties and extreme operating condition. And the pipeline failure due to the corrosion is the most significant factor in oil and gas pipeline failure, which cause massive property loss and damage to the environment that resulting in liquid leakage and gas release. And thus, different methods of risk analysis in oil and gas pipeline maintenance have been done by researchers such as fault tree analysis, failure mode and effect analysis, bow tie diagram, and Bayesian network. Risk analysis provide an easy way of dealing with complex problems because it can be built with different risk analysis models that contain vagueness and impreciseness in knowledge representation, and because of that, the main objective is to conduct the risk analysis of corroded oil and gas pipeline by using Bayesian network approach in order to solve the corrosion problem from the root cause. So, let's move towards the methodology that we will be used in order to conduct the risk analysis of corroded oil and gas pipelines by using the Bayesian network approach. So, for the methodology, Bayesian network, also known as the Bayesian reliability network, is a probabilistic technique that based on the graph and probabilistic theory. Bayesian network shows that each node represents an information element. The degree association between the information elements are being indicated by the directed edge between them. Bayesian networks are widely recognized as an effective and developed technique, and based on Bayesian's theorem for tackling probabilistic assessment and prediction, developed technique based on Bayes' theorems. Bayesian networks have been used widely in risk analysis to overcome the weakness in the oil and gas pipelines from the fault tree analysis, in which the modeling data of scarcity correlation in between the factor of such influence and risk that always be updating from new evidence. So, Bayesian networks consist of two parts, which is qualitative, which is we will use directed acyclic graph DAG that comes from the cause and then effect. And then the second one is quantitative, which is we will use the conditional probability table CPT. So these are the question for the CPT, which is the P of the cause or effect is resulting to the P cause times by the P effect and cause. Then we will divide by the probability of effect. So for the methodology, first, the data collection will be done in this research and study, which is the data collection will collected from literature and sources of different place and state between certain area and period of times, and depends on the case. The data from the corrosion that occurs due to the environmental condition inside of the pipelines were taken based on from the interaction of hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, or other chemicals or even water that happen within the interior walls of the pipes. And then we will use the DAG construction, which is the directed acyclic graph. DAG was used for reasoning under uncertainty, in which each node represent a variables and each arc were representing a conditional dependency among the variables. It calculates the joint probability distribution of a set of random variables And Bayesian network was a graphical model that permits a probabilistic relationship among a set of variables. And then we will do the retrieval of CPT by using the noisy OR model, which is the variable can be either in true or false. And each variable exerted its influence on the variables or the other variables independently. And to build a Bayesian network, the variable must be associated with a probabilistic distribution on and noisy OR function was an iterative way where we can use few parameters to specify the probability. And for the reasoning calculation and model discussion, in order to test the effectiveness of the Bayesian network model, we will compare it with other methods and existing Bayesian network models. The Bayesian belief network have to be verified before it can be used. And the network can be verified by testing if the Bayesian operation matches with result from other available information, and the errors related to the network can be identified with the sensitivity analysis. Okay, so let's continue for the result and discussion. So the proposed model was developed by using the Genie software. And the proposed model portrays the relationship of the factor that may cause failure to the correct pipeline and the consequence associated to the failure. So we take the internal correction and external correction as the huge or major factor that can cause the failure to the correct pipeline, and then if corrosion occur, the leakage will occur in the pipeline. And here, we will conduct the sensitivity analysis to identify the most influence or critical factor that can associated to a certain simulated situation. For instance, the most influence factor for external corrosion is from the mild corrosion, and internal corrosion is due to the failure of internal protection. And before I forget, for the internal corrosion, there are two factors that can be considered that can cause the internal corrosion to occur, which is corrosion failure and failure of internal protection. And for the external corrosion, the factor that can cause external corrosion to occur is from the mild corrosion, and then other factors such as temperature, pH value, free water, and anti-corrosive coating. And here we can see that corrosion failure can be occur if the external corrosion and external corrosion is occur. So it is proof here that when we use noisy OR model, the internal corrosion will occur with a percentage of 98%, and for the external corrosion, the percentage is 99%. Okay. So for the contribution, a proposed model was developed based on the data gathered from various sources. The developed direct acrylic graph may help technical and non-technical person to understand the dependencies among the variables associated to corroded pipeline qualitatively. And the noisy OR model also can capture the uncertainties and complex dependencies among causes of root failures from various sources, and also it can assist operators in maintaining and managing the pipeline integrity. And then by using the noisy OR model, it enables the decision makers to make informed decisions, prioritize actions, and distinguish possible actions that are associated to the risk. Okay, for the acknowledgement of my research, this work is supported by the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia under the Fundamental Research and Grant Scheme project. So I think that's all from me. Thank you for hearing my invented model. Thank you.